On the early morning of December 4th, 2024, Brian Thompson, the CEO of UnitedHealthcare, was assassinated outside a Midtown Manhattan hotel. At exactly 6:45 a.m., a masked shooter approached him from behind. When his 3D printed weapon jammed after the first shot, the gunman quickly cleared the chamber, fired again, and took off on foot. He grabbed a waiting electric bicycle and started riding north toward Central Park. The journey took mere minutes, allowing him to quickly vanish into the city's vast physical landscape. But disappearing in New York City is incredibly difficult because it operates one of the most densely packed, heavily monitored camera grids on the planet. Despite thousands of lenses recording every block, the suspect intentionally fractured his timeline. He moved between blind spots and changed transport to turn a massive, continuous system into a disjointed hunt for isolated fragments. Surviving those critical first few minutes in a hyper-surveilled city meant the physical chase was already over. The police had to instantly pivot to a massive digital reconstruction. The first piece of physical evidence surfaced near a Central Park playground. Police recovered a discarded backpack containing a jacket and a bizarre ideological message, a stack of Monopoly money, likely left to mock the finances of the healthcare industry. Using the timeline of his e-bike ride, investigators traced his movements backwards. They scrubbed through transit and street cameras until they pinpointed his starting location, a hostel on the Upper West Side. They learned the suspect had arrived from Atlanta 10 days prior to the shooting. He checked in under the fake name Mark Rosario, carefully keeping his hood up and a medical mask on. But he made a single catastrophic mistake against his own protocols. While checking in, the front desk worker asked him to pull down his mask to verify ID, even asking to see his smile. He complied. That brief interaction generated the clearest security image police had of his face. Overnight, that single photo broadcasted him as a nationwide person of interest. A highly calculated plan designed to defeat a citywide camera grid was ultimately undone by a single standard compliance check at a check-in desk. Immediately after the shooting, the suspect fled toward major transit hubs, specifically targeting the chaotic crowds of Penn Station to break local camera continuity. This map shows how quickly the pursuit expanded. Within hours, the search scaled up into a multi-state federal operation. He severed the digital thread linking his movements by rapidly switching between transit systems, exploiting gaps in coverage. Investigators eventually picked up a fragment of his trail outside of New York, confirming his crossing into New Jersey through Newark. From there, he adopted a new alias, Sam Dawson, and purchased a Greyhound bus ticket heading west toward Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Along the way, he deployed physical countermeasures. He shed his mask, changed his clothing, and altered his overall appearance to defeat any automated facial recognition systems looking for the man from the hostel. The digital dragnet was failing. Investigators were left staring at massive gaps in their timeline, relying heavily on a single photograph. When a target actively understands how to exploit the blind spots between regional surveillance jurisdictions, technology alone cannot close the net. On day 5, the scale of the manhunt collapsed drastically, from a massive federal grid down to a quiet McDonald's on a rural road in Altoona, Pennsylvania. The suspect sat in the corner eating hash browns and a breakfast sandwich. He was quiet and calm, operating under the assumption that he had successfully escaped the system. But across the restaurant, a group of customers noticed something. Even though his face was mostly covered, they recognized a distinct resemblance between his eyes and the widely broadcast photo from the New York hostel. A cautious manager called a non-emergency 911 line to report a suspicious person. This prompted a routine response from 2 local patrolmen who walked in expecting a false alarm. The officers asked for his ID. When they ran Mark Rosario through their database, nothing came back. By entirely bypassing the federal murder warrant, they legally detained him on a local forgery charge instead. The final proof came when police unzipped his backpack. Inside, they found the 3D printed murder weapon, the silencer, and over $7,000 in cash, officially ending the manhunt for Luigi Mangione. A multi-state digital dragnet failed to find the suspect for 5 days. Ultimately, the search ended because a few diners noticed that the man in the corner looked exactly like the photo on the news.